Hello friends, my name is Dr. Rahul Shah. You all would have heard this quote which says, "In the midst of crisis lies an opportunity. Where crisis arises, it is a seed of an opportunity." Yes, correct. Today I am going to tell you a small story or steps towards how can we convert crisis into opportunity. Crisis to opportunity is a phenomenal steps as well. Let me tell you what do we mean by word crisis. Crisis is something which we have not planned. It is unplanned and it may happen any time of our life. Whenever crisis arises, we get panic, we get challenged and we become very ungrateful. What is happening around us? And to ensure and to not feel dejected, let us learn the steps which will help us to identify how can we move from crisis to opportunity, which will help us to actually give us the idea that it is really simple and also very phenomenal to ensure we can reach to that particular part very easily. Yes, it sounds easy, however, its application is much more simpler as well. The way how we will do it is a ladder which we will have to climb. So the ladder to climb between crisis to opportunity is made on a terminology called as focus. We all know focus is very important in life, but let me tell you and give you an idea how we will focus on a different format. In fact, we will break down this concept of focus in a very different format to understand how we can bridge the gap between crisis to opportunity. So it's a ladder which you have to climb, which is going to be based on 5 steps, FOCUS. Let's see each one of them in a conceptual manner and understand how we can reach from crisis to opportunity. First, futuristic. It is important to remember in every crisis scenario, always think futuristic, meaning ensure we can think about future. Future is not known to any one of us, but we can reach to future when we start having a vision which will help us to drive to the future. Future no one has seen, but it is also said a person who can see the future can only bridge the gap. So in the midst of crisis, ensure we can be futuristic. The best way to be futuristic is not focus on or not concentrate on crisis, but divert yourself from crisis environment to a futuristic environment. Where do you want to reach in life? What are the goals you want to achieve? And that is where the first step will start climbing to go from crisis to opportunity, called as what? Absolutely correct, futuristic. So think futuristic. Think how can I reach to that particular target? And when we start thinking futuristic, we will be definitely able to reach to that particular point. O in focus stands for optimistic. It is important in any crisis. Make sure that we will be optimistic in nature. Optimism is the only fact which will give us hope. And if we lose the hope, there is nothing in which we can do. And to ensure we convert crisis into opportunity, we all need to be optimistic. Optimistic about future, optimistic of ourselves, optimistic of things happening around us. Optimism is an injection. Once we take it, we need to go and infect it. Infect each one of us around, whosoever you meet. Optimism. And how can you be optimism? By not concentrating on darkness, but by focusing on brightness. You know, everyone who are listening to me, sun rises, it has to set. Similarly, if sun has set, it is again going to rise. Optimism is as good as the nature. If it has gone down, it has to come up, and if it is going to come up, it will again fall one fine day down. But hope will ensure that optimism is going to be there in place. So stay hopeful. That is where we will be optimistic in nature. And hence, the second step, it is very crucially important for remembering that converting crisis to opportunity is to be optimistic. Be positive. Any environment, instead of thinking, why me? Ask, yes, me. Because when we move from me to we move from ladder of positioning from where we want to go, or rather where we are, in fact where we want to go. So ensure being optimism. Third is competitive. In focus, the third step is being competitive. Important to remember that we remain always competitive. Competitive doesn't mean to compete with others. Competitive also doesn't mean that we compete with the universe, but we compete with ourselves. Life is beautiful when we have benchmarked ourselves what we were yesterday till where we want to reach today. So it's always benchmarking where we are and where we want to reach. The best way to avoid crisis or move from crisis to opportunity stage is to ensure we are competitive. Competitive basically means upgrading our skills, learning something which we have learned earlier, forgetting it. So when we learn, unlearn and relearn, we try to be competitive. There is nothing called as everything is going to remain static. Life is dynamic. Economies are dynamic. Businesses are dynamic. Everything is so dynamic. Everything is going to remain one thing, if at all it has to remain continuous and constant. It is called as change. In that changing environment, crisis to convert to opportunity is going to be called as a format which is related to being absolutely concentrating on being competitive in nature. So be competitive. And how to be competitive? Making sure we raise our own bars, making sure focusing on the competitiveness of what we can do better. It is said that we want to do everything, but one thing which we can do better, no one else who can do other than anyone in the universe, is only we can justify it. So remember to be competitive. The fourth is called as unity in focus. So it is important to be unified. Now unified means what? Mind, body and soul should be unified where we want to reach. To create crisis to opportunity, every body part of the system should be absolutely unified. The universe has to be unified, we have to be unified, things has to be unified, then things will work for us. So many a times it happens that mind says something else, body says something else and soul says something else. If all the three are properly aligned, it becomes unified. And when we are unified, we believe what we are going to do. Crisis compulsory has to convert into opportunity. So it has to be unified. We have to be unified. We have to be at the point where everything is superficially and optimistically unified in nature. Finally, the last one in focus, where S abbreviation is called as strategic. Anything to achieve, we will require strategy. Strategy is nothing but solutions for problems. Anything which we want to achieve starts with futuristic and ends with a strategy. Eventually, remember that if anything we have to move and convert that crisis into opportunity, there will be a plan of action required or a strategy required. And strategy is not known to others, it is known to we ourselves. Who is our best friend? Who is your best friend? Who is my best friend? It is we ourselves are ourselves best friends. And our strategy is unique to ourselves. Our plan is unique to ourselves. Stop depending on others. It is you who will decide what is your strategy, not someone else. So make sure that you are strategically sound in your system. Each step which I have explained, starting with futuristic, optimistic, competitive, unity and strategic, defines a ladder to move from crisis to opportunity. Well, I can tell you only one thing, guys, that opportunities are everywhere. Crises are everywhere. There are only unique, each one of us like me and you, who understands the crisis and who also understands the opportunity. Everyone wants to convert crisis to opportunity and people are putting a lot of efforts. However, they miss on this ladder, and today you have learned this ladder. Ensure you pass this ladder to everyone, because ladder climbed is ladder passed, and ladder passed reaches to many people. If everyone has found out the opportunity to grow, everyone will grow together. As it is said, one single person can never do anything alone. You will always require a team, and hence the ladder can only be climbed when we have got a great team. So convert crisis into opportunity via this model, which is called as a focus model. Hope you enjoyed understanding this part. Till then, God bless us. Thank you.